Hello all, my name is Krishna and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this particular video, I am going to discuss a very important topic called deep agents. If you look at most of the companies, ChatGPT, Claude Code, Manus AI, they all have their own deep research agent. And this entire deep research agent is nothing but what we call a deep agent. So how is it different from a normal AI agent, the kind we used to create? If you look at the flow of development in generative AI and agentic AI, initially we only used LLM models to build generative AI applications. Then we moved towards creating independent agents that were able to perform some tasks, and later we saw different types of agents. We also saw how to collaborate between agents, multi-agent applications, and I've already uploaded plenty of videos on that. But now it's time to move towards deep agents. In this video we are going to understand what deep agents are. I'll also show you some code so you can create your own deep agents. And in the upcoming videos, we'll talk more about it with respect to practical implementation. So let me quickly share my screen. First of all, what are the agents we used to work with? It's a very simple thing. Let's say I have an LLM and I give an input to this LLM. The LLM basically acts like a brain. It decides whether it needs to generate the output directly or whether it needs to communicate with some kind of tools. These tools can be any external, third-party tools. Suppose I ask, what is the current temperature in Bangalore or Paris? The LLM obviously doesn't have any live data. So the LLM is usually connected to tools. It could be a SERP API, a Tavily API, or a different API that provides weather information. The LLM makes a request to the tool responds, for example, the temperature in Paris is such, and that output is generated. Now this is also an agent, a basic agent. And this specific kind we call a shallow agent. Why do we call it a shallow agent? Because the input query comes in, the LLM takes an action, it calls the tool, and it gives the output. It's just following a simple flow. In this process, no planning is happening. A request comes in, it goes to the tools, and the tools give us the output. It's a very simple loop. This is the most common functionality we may have implemented in our generative AI or AI agent solutions. But here there's a disadvantage. Based on the input query, only one piece of logic gets applied. The LLM decides whether to call the tool or generate the output directly. There's no explicit planning. So we don't use this pattern for very complex tasks. Suppose I ask for today's recent AI news and how it relates to economics and the best developments in physics. This kind of complex query needs to be decomposed into subqueries and then each one solved. With this simple loop, complex queries just cannot be handled. You might think it's simple, but it isn't. And whenever we follow this simple loop, there's also very limited context retention.